Hey everybody, this is an Eyewitness News election update. I'm Mike Marza. Wow, what a busy week of headlines as we count down to Election Day and the first day of early voting, which is tomorrow for New York and New Jersey. Connecticut is already well underway. So tonight we thought we'd highlight the 7 moments from this week, beginning with the race for New York mayor and the radio moment that has a lot of people talking today. Here's NJ Burkett to recap it for us.
Zohran Mamdani stepped to the podium outside a mosque in the Bronx and condemned his opponents for what he described as Islamophobic rhetoric.
No matter what anyone says, there are still certain forms of hate that are acceptable in this city. Islamophobia is not seen as inexcusable.
Mamdani blames Republican Curtis Sliwa for falsely claiming at Wednesday's debate that he supports global jihad.
I have never, not once, spoken in support of global jihad.
And Cuomo for an appearance on WABC Radio, where he told conservative radio host Sid Rosenberg that Mamdani was not qualified to handle a crisis like another 9/11.
Can you imagine Mamdani in the seat?
Yeah, I could. He'd be cheering.
It's another problem.
But Cuomo did not push back.
Another smiling photo of Zohran Mamdani.
And supporters of the former governor are running this ad, associating Mamdani with an unindicted co-conspirator of 9/11.
In less than 2 weeks, we will say goodbye to a disgraced former governor and our current indicted mayor. The bigger question is whether we are willing to say goodbye to something much larger than either of these two men.
Late this afternoon, Cuomo held a news conference surrounded by Muslim clerics and downplayed his radio appearance, insisting instead that Mamdani was trying to divide the city.
It is all an act. It is all an act. Today he's playing the victim, but in reality he is the offender.
Our thanks to NJ for bringing us that report. Cuomo added today that he had in his mind at the time when all of that controversy was swirling that Mamdani's interview earlier this year with Hassan Piker, a Twitch streamer who has been accused of anti-Semitism and once said that America deserved 9/11. Let's flip the page because on the campaign trail this week, also some key endorsements for the frontrunners in the race. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries endorsing Zohran Mamdani. Mayor Adams endorsing Andrew Cuomo.
Well, you criticized Andrew and you called him names. You know what? And he called me names. But you know what? Now it's time to fight for the family. And I'm going to fight for the family with Andrew Cuomo as the next mayor of the city of New York. Thank you, Cuomo.
And on Friday, Hakeem Jeffries endorsed Zohran Mamdani, saying that he has relentlessly focused on addressing the affordability crisis and explicitly committed to being a mayor for all New Yorkers. And with any mayor, there will be areas of agreement and areas of principled disagreement, yet the stakes are existential. Republican Congressmember Mike Lawler of New York blasting this endorsement during an interview that was taped for Up Close.
It took Leader Jeffries months to finally come out and say that he supports Zohran Mamdani, an avowed socialist. I think it's imperative that every Democrat running for Congress in New York, including the 8 that are running against me, should say very clearly where they stand. Do they support an avowed socialist who wants to seize the means of production, who wants to ban private property ownership, who wants to raise taxes by $9 billion, who wants to defund the police and legalize prostitution, freeze the rent, provide free busing, and government-run grocery stores? Do they support that candidate for mayor? They should be very clear and unequivocal about it, yes or no. Yeah. And I think Leader Jeffries finally, found his way towards yes. Chuck Schumer continues to avoid the answer. Kathy Hochul came out and endorsed him. So folks deserve to know where the Democrats stand on Zohran Mamdani.
As for the Republican in the race, Curtis Sliwa fending off calls for him to drop out, specifically from his own boss at WABC Radio. And on Wednesday, Sliwa was fed up with a lack of support in this race from his radio station that he went onto the airwaves and quit his job.
You will never see me ever in the studios of WABC again. Never. No matter how this election turns out.
He went off, and I just want to do the right thing and tell you how I feel. And that the fact is that Curtis has been working here for WABC for a long time, and he's welcome to work here for a very long time to come.
Well, tomorrow, Sliwa says he will be voting down the Republican line as early voting gets underway. Sliwa joining Cuomo in that fiery final debate in attacking the frontrunner, Zohran Mamdani, including a moment when Mamdani, who has campaigned on making New York more affordable, refused to say whether he supported 3 proposals that you will see on the ballot dealing with affordable housing.
It was reference to the 3 housing-related charter amendment questions. I know Mr. Cuomo is on the record as saying he favors them. We just heard Mr. Sliwa say that he's against them. Where do you stand on those?
I'm appreciative that those measures will be on the ballot and that New Yorkers will be able to cast their votes for them. I know that we desperately need to build more housing in this city, and I also know that the jobs we create in the building of that housing should be good jobs as well.
What a political answer. What is your opinion, Zohran?
Yes or no?
Come on.
Yes or no?
What is your opinion? Yes or no, Zohran?
Truth.
Don't be a politician here.
I got it. They're pointing out what I was about to, which is that you didn't answer the question.
No, I think on the stage you can see 2 people appealing for the Republican Party's votes and myself speaking
Answer the question. Answer the question for once.
My question to you was, do you support the 3 ballot amendment questions?
I have not yet taken a position on those ballot amendment questions.
Oh, what a shocker.
So that is in New York. Let's move now to the Garden State in this hotly contested race for the governor of New Jersey. A new poll was released this week that showed Democrat Mikey Sherrill leading Republican Jack Ciattarelli by 5 points in this key race. The new poll by Rutgers Eagleton shows Sherrill leading 50-45 as the race appears to be tightening. That same poll had Sherrill leading by 9 points back in August. Some big names are also coming out to help the candidates in that race as we inch closer to Election Day. President Trump endorsing Ciattarelli on social media, saying he's a winner who will drive energy costs to a new low, and his challenger slamming Democrat Mikey Sherrill in the process. Sherrill will be campaigning next weekend in Newark with former President Barack Obama in person, and on Friday night, President Trump held a tele-rally for Ciattarelli. Members of Congress are at home right now, even as the government remains shut down. Both sides refusing to make a deal to keep the paychecks flowing for hundreds of thousands of federal workers. Republicans blaming Democrats for not supporting several measures to open the government as the negotiation takes place. The Democrats continue to blame Republicans for causing a spike to Obamacare premiums. Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey said Democrats are fighting for health care, and he spoke to Sade.
When do you think that we're going to actually finally reach an agreement?
God, we need to do it as soon as possible. There are people all over the state of New Jersey and our region really hurting right now. They're hurting both those people who have government jobs with the federal government or are federal contractors, and it's hurting because we're seeing sticker shock in the tri-state area when it comes to people's health care costs. We see people paying 100% more, triple even, thousands of dollars added to family budgets. And it's not just families. We have a lot of small businesses in our region who get their health care through these exchanges and who are seeing unconscionable costs going up. There's a way to solve this, which is sitting down at the table and negotiating at a time when the President of the United States controls the White House, his party controls the House and the Senate. The fact that they're not willing to sit down and try to negotiate something, they want a maximalist, everything their way approach. And the reason why we didn't have a shutdown during the Biden administration is because we always got together and reached a compromise, reached a bipartisan way forward. And this is something they're refusing to do, and especially when all we're asking them to do is to deal with the skyrocketing costs of Americans. They've shown us that they can give bills forward that give billionaires tax breaks, but working people are really hurting, and we should be doing something to help them out with this budget.
So we'll see what happens in Congress. Meanwhile, down the way at the White House, did you see this? The east wing of the White House demolished to make way for a new 90,000 square foot ballroom. President Trump says the project, which has now ballooned to some $300 million as an estimate, will be paid for by private donors. But the backlash continues over the timing, the size, and some people even questioning the president's authority to do this. We want to return now to the tri-state and the race for New York mayor with our third and final candidate profile. Curtis Sliwa has certainly made headlines over the last 40 years being in the public spotlight. From patrolling the subways as the founder of the Guardian Angels to accusing John Jr. Gotti of being behind a shooting that left him hospitalized. But the biggest headline he is hoping to make, being elected 111th mayor of New York. Here's Stefan.
Curtis Sliwa has been part of the fabric of New York City for decades with his flamboyant personality and that signature red beret. But if he wins on election night,
I would take it off, put it in storage like New Yorkers do with everything else of their clutter. I'd never wear it again. You elect me mayor. I'll never wear this red beret again.
It's hard to imagine Sliwa without the beret. He's worn it while patrolling the subways as the founder of the Guardian Angels.
We're calling upon all those citizens who are in support of the effort and have asked what it is that they can do to help bring justice to the situation.
He's worn it while providing commentary on conservative talk radio.
Spend the money on American patriots and American citizens who continue to get ill as a result of the attacks of 9/11.
And he's worn it while campaigning for mayor.
I am the populist candidate of the Republican Party, the blue-collar working-class candidate, the candidate of the outer boroughs.
This is Sliwa's second time running for mayor. 4 years ago, he lost to Eric Adams by a wide margin. General elections are typically an uphill battle for Republicans in a city where there are 6 times as many registered Democrats. Sliwa is aligned with some of the GOP's bigger platforms. He wants to end New York's sanctuary city policies. He opposes additional migrant centers and often calls himself the candidate of law and order.
What candidate is in the subways every day and on the buses and the express buses and in the streets and in neighborhoods where the only Republican they've ever seen is Abraham Lincoln on a $5 bill? Who can match my credibility in knowing about crime?
But Sliwa is certainly not a MAGA candidate. He denounced the January 6th attack on the Capitol, and while he has said he has a love-hate relationship with President Trump, he knows as mayor he'll need to work with the White House.
The Trump administration has said they're going to cut NYCHA funds, they cut Medicaid funds, they cut food stamps, they intend on cutting more. You got to get ahead of the curve. Meet with them and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Can we sit down? Can we have a conversation and agree to negotiate this before you just drop the hammer on our head?
The president is among many on both sides of the political aisle calling on Sliwa to exit the race. But the Brooklyn-born activist, who has spent much of his life patrolling the subways and streets, who was shot in a stolen taxi, and who claims to be the candidate of the people, says he is not going anywhere.
If there are 3 people on the ballot, and I'm the law and order candidate, and they're in favor of criminals, and they bent over backwards for no cash bail and closing Rikers, why shouldn't people have an alternative to vote for me?
Stefan Kim, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And you can see all the profiles on all 3 New York mayoral candidates at ABC7NY. Next week, we're going to take a deeper dive into the issues surrounding the New York City area. Here are the candidates, talk about how they plan to address these if they were to win mayor. A reminder, early voting now underway in Connecticut and in New Jersey and in New York. Early voting starts tomorrow. Early voting in all 3 states ends on November 2nd, and of course, Election Day is November 4th. I'm Mike Marza. Thanks so much for watching. Full coverage of all the big races ahead of Election Day right here at ABC7NY.